Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I was just beginning to mark up my contract for the new ES futures contract, and I thought I'd just record while I do it. So if you can see here, I'm guessing at this point, I think if you're watching my stream, then you should know the difference between the contracts. I'll give you a quick breakdown. If you go up here and you type in ES, so these are continuous contracts. Usually we don't trade them. So the way the contracts work is you have the contract for September, December, March, June, and then it'll rotate. So it starts in March, and it's March, June, September, December. And they just rotate through those four. So since we are now in September, you can see that this contract ends in September, and what happens is either early to midway through September, the volume will switch over, and people will start trading this December contract. And the way you check for that is I just use Yahoo Finance. So go to Yahoo Finance, and in the top you would type in ESU 2023. You would get it. It looked like this, and you'd look at this open volume and open. The open volume is more important, but they'll usually go hand in hand. So if we can see on September contract, ESU, September contract always is with a U. The U, just that third space denotes which contract, and I'll explain that in a moment. So we have 4463 and 1273. So in this tab up here, I have Yahoo Finance December contract, which is ESZ. December is always a Z, 2023. And we have 4515. Okay, so 4463, 4515, 14, 40, 45, 14. So as you can see, this just happened. They're basically the same. I traded the September contract this morning. Not a huge problem. You will see towards the end of the month, price might start to get wonky. So for December, we have volume 1515, September 1274. So that just means that more people are now trading this December contract, and you want to trade the contract with more volume because more volume means more liquidity. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Cool. Yeah, so as you can see, September, we'll start with March for chronological purposes. So when March 2024 comes around, March is always an H, June's always an M, September is always a U, and December is a Z, and then it cycles through those four. Cool. The hard part about redressing your chart is adding all the previous new week opening gaps. As you can see here, I have them all here, and it's kind of hard because I want to go to that exact day and do that. So first thing I put on was this daily fair value gap because that's what we're trading in right now. So that's where we are there. Next thing I'm going to do is this SIBI that we're in. So there we go. That's SIBI that I spoke about this morning. Let's see. We also have one right here for value gap on the daily. We have one. That was the one we are tapping into. Oh, actually, let me go up to the weekly. Oh, okay, there's no weekly. No, I think that's what I was looking for. I will adjust this. Fair value gap weekly. I'll go down to daily. Okay, so that's the fair value gap the other week that we just missed. Respected this daily, came back up, created that, working our way inside of this fair value gap, this BISI. We're also inside this SIBI. I think that's all I want for daily price. Go down to the 4 hour. So we had this 4 hour. We have this one, which you can see we actually reacted off today. Interesting. Have that. I want to watch consequent encroachment of this wick, yesterday's wick. So I'll be watching the high and consequent encroachment. 45. And then which coincides almost with consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, which I also want to have. Actually, I'll leave that off for now. Four hour. Okay. Go down to the 1 hour. And we've got this volume imbalance right here. Interesting. I'm gonna look at these two. So this is my previous contract. Have this new week opening gap here. What is that the new week opening gap for? 814. That looks pretty pivotal because we're right on it today. So we're gonna have to go all the way back to 814, August 14th. They're also going to be different. The fair value gaps might be a little different from contract, or not the fair value gaps. The new week opening gaps might be a little different from contract to contract. Wait, so yeah, we'll go to 814. Let's see how we reacted off of it. Treated it pretty nicely today. You know, I think I would also want to have these. I'm not gonna do this live. It's gonna take too much time to put all these new week opening gaps back onto the new contract. I'll probably stick to watching the September contract just for the rest of the day today. The volume flow is about the same, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And then I'll redress all the new week opening gaps tomorrow or tonight. So right now we have, this was the morning. Okay, so we got buy side up here. So everyone who's short for the day, a lot of their buy stops will be at the high of the day. I'd be pretty nervous if I was a short right now. So we had this long climb up over lunch. Let's go to 15. Consolidation. So we hit the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap beautifully. Right there. Retraced back up. Also took sell side. Came up, down, up through that order block. Up through the new week opening gap. And here we are. So I'd want to see how we respect the consequent encroachment of this long 15-minute wick. Gonna make that blue. Oh, look. Looks like we almost hit it to a T. What are we at? That is the high right now, coming in at 44.90.75. It's about a tick shy. Okay. Okay. If you notice, that coincides really nicely if you want to consider this an order block with the mean threshold for that order block. If you want to consider this whole thing the order block, it's right there. Okay, so we're reacting nicely off this 15-minute wick. We had such a run up that I'm not going to look for any shorts until we're below this new week opening gap. If you notice, we still have a whole 15-minute fair value gap that lines up. So like we could easily on the 15-minute retrace down into this just to send it higher for buy side if we wanted to. I really wouldn't get too bearish, quote bearish for scalps, because we're just focusing on scalping for the next 2 days until CPI on Wednesday. This morning I kept saying tomorrow. Wednesday, CPI is always on a Wednesday, so I could see us wicking down into this. I'd want to see us get well below here before I see anything lower. So if anything, I'm going to look for upward scalps. We took a loss this morning. Could still come back from it. Okay, so on the 5-minute, we're respecting that order block. Let's check out NASDAQ. We took our high for the day on NASDAQ. You got buy side right there. Okay. NASDAQ took the high. NASDAQ also showed very nice respect of this 4-hour order block. Came up. Aggressive run on NASDAQ. Oh, we came to the top of this 4-hour order block to the tick. Like to see that. So we got so right now we got a low, high, lower, low, and a break. So you could probably find some sort of breaker structure in there. I'd look more for the 5 minute. Okay, so we're respecting this right here. This fair value gap. Let's go to the 3 chart view. Okay, because what I want to do is I want to see where we're at on NASDAQ at the same time. See if this, because right now there's not many PD arrays any lower before we get to that low. I want to see what the PD arrays on NASDAQ look like. If you see NASDAQ, so like right here, we have this. Five-minute volume imbalance coincides, so you can see it right here. We're respecting this fair value gap. See these candle bodies respecting that fair value gap. Something I forgot to mention this morning was our opening range gap, which is right here. So with our opening range gap, a lot of colors going on, but okay. You can see us came down this morning, came down and closed in. Candle bodies decided to close in. About 75% of that opening range gap, you can see the bodies stop right there. It came up higher. Now we're at the top. You can see the 5 minute come up above it. It looks like we closed right on top of it. Just going to denote the opening range gap. Okay, let's look at the dollar. The dollar. So this morning we had a drop in dollar and drop in price. Then over lunch we had a rallying dollar going into the lunch hour. Price on the indices stayed sideways. Right at 12 o'clock the dollar decided to drop again, which made the indices rise. Okay, we'd like to see that. Now I have a rising dollar. Dollar couldn't put in a lower low here. We put in about a equal high. Let's see what NASDAQ did. NASDAQ put in a higher high with the dollar. And we have the dollar coming back up. Sideways dollar. Okay, so we basically got a sideways dollar right here. You can see in the 5-minute we came down. Candle body opened right at the top of this volume imbalance, but came straight up. I'd like upward price as long as we keep this low in. NASDAQ making a higher high. So I got an SMT divergence here. Put that to the 15-minute. I could see us. We have this fair value gap on the 15-minute in the formula BISI. And then we have the volume imbalance. Okay. So in terms of this 15-minute fair value gap, inefficiencies we have on the lower time frames are right here for the 5-minute, but right here on the 1-minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a quick drop down into this. I like this 5-minute structure. If we can break above it, using it as somewhat of a support for price. Notice how all the down close candles are supporting the price. So we have this run up coming out of lunch, little downward price action, run up above it, supports price, run up above it, comes back down. This large down close candle supports price here. So NASDAQ's a lot stronger. So we took that buy side on NASDAQ. I like the way NASDAQ seems a little cleaner, a little less choppier. You can see the down close candles are supporting price a lot better than it was in ES. Okay, we have the dollar pushing its way up. Let's look at the higher time frame for a little more narrative. Okay, so on the higher time frame, we're breaking above, or easily above this daily fair value gap, and we're going above this 4 hour. Next target we have is this daily fair value gap top. Okay, so we just wicked into that. Let's see how, I like it when, let's see how it closes. I was about to say I like it when we wick and then reject hard, but can't get too ahead of ourselves. The 4 hour, peeking our head just above this 4 hour fair value gap. Closed above it on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. We're coming back down. The daily. Flip back to ES. Yeah, see, ES has this, it's a little muddier, it's a little choppier, whereas the NASDAQ is still making higher, like the higher highs and higher lows are a little cleaner. Let's measure out the opening range gap on NASDAQ. Okay, so that's our opening range gap on NASDAQ. It's significantly lower. Just gonna leave that there. Okay, so we're entering in to the silver bullet time window. As for liquidity, that's really our next buy side. Probably that wick. If it gets closer, I'll measure out that wick. Okay, yeah, so on the 5 minute, we have this, look at all this upside delivery coming out of lunch, one down close candle, change in the state of delivery, come back up through it. Then we have this candle, comes down, taps that wick, also crosses over this wick just a little bit. Leave no fair value gap formed here. On the 1 minute, you can see the candles respect that 5 minute wick pretty nicely. Let's put the dollar up. Let's see. I would I'd enter here on a silver bullet. If I can get these out of the way. Oh, did we just miss it? Let's see. I might have just missed. What are it going as? The low came in at 15, 4, 62.25. 62.25. Ooh, yeah, that was it. It's institutional order flow. We got the dollar. Looks like it's kind of getting a little lower. Okay, so we're a little slow to that one. We're not going to jump in right now, but if we see something else. A little too slow to pull the trigger. Maybe consequent encroachment of this wick. See what ES is doing. This is a higher high on NASDAQ. ES couldn't make it. The close above the fair value gap on the 15-minute. Okay, we're coming down. Consequent encroachment of that wick. Wouldn't be surprised if we came down back to the silver bullet. Let's do that for a stop. 30 ticks. Okay, we're in. Okay, now let's watch the dollar here. Let's not make the same mistake we made in the morning. If we start seeing higher highs on the dollar, we'll reverse this pretty quickly. Okay, so that candle body closed right above the silver bullet, this fair value gap we have. You know what? Okay, so we see the dollar. Dollar kind of looks like it wants to make a little lower low. Okay, we like that. We like that. The body seems to not want to close inside of that fair value gap. It coincides with this dollar making a lower low. We're still going to watch it though, because this is such a large run up. Look at this. Such a large move upwards. Okay, we came down, wicked. Let's see where this body closes. Okay. Okay. ES. Hit a lower low right there. We wicked below it. See what the dollar does. Gotta watch the dollar. Okay, so that hit our stop. We took a little loss right there. Let's see where it closes. If we have a strong, yeah, I'll enter back in with 1. Those are in the way. Okay. Still watching this dollar going down to here. Okay. See if the dollar starts making higher highs. Okay, so we had a close outside of this fair value gap. That's not the best. We're going to put our stops on this one. Put it right below here. So what it is we'll see if we respect this down close candle break. See if we violate this PD array. That'll be two PD arrays that we violate if we get down below here. Actually, you know what we'll do? No, we'll keep it. We'll keep it at that. Still got a rising dollar. Let's see how we come up above this. Yeah, as expected. If the dollar takes this high, then I don't want to be in the trade. Whoa. Okay, we're watching the dollar right here on this yellow line. We're just not feeling. You can see it's toying with the 50% level of this. It looks like a propulsion block. Okay, so still watching the dollar. Watching the 5 minute. I like how on the 5 minute, a little cluttered chart. On the 5 minute, we couldn't get a close below this, the consequent encroachment of this black wick. I'll continue to see if this next 5 minute candle shows any kind of interest in doing that. Still got the dollar playing around here. So this would be 10 handles right here. If we, okay, dropping dollar. I got the dollar dropping. I want this candle to close above this fair value gap. want to see this body close above this fair value gap. Okay, we like that. If we, okay, the dollar's looking heavy, as you can see. This yellow line. Move the stop up. Move the stop up because I don't want to. We came down below this fair value gap. We came up below it. If we come down through it again, then I'm not that in sync with what price is doing. But we got a very heavy dollar. I like that. I want to see it drop a little more. Like that. Awesome, awesome. The dollar's looking heavy. Okay. So that is 10 handles right there. Close that out, took a little profit. I think we're still down right now in the day, just because we still down on the day. Technically, I think that's 3 trades on the day for me. I should stop because my rule is 3 trades and I'm done. Part of me wishes we didn't exit out right there just because this dollar is getting so heavy. I could see it getting some momentum to the upside. I was even thinking on re-entering if we came back into one of these fair value gaps. But I took 3 trades today. And I probably should not take another one. So as you can see right here, we bought 2 and then we got stopped out, and then I bought 1. Bought 1 back. We got 10 handles there. We got 12 handles technically. Let's see what the P&L is. Haven't looked at my P&L. P&L, I think we're still down on the day. Yeah, so we took a small loss this morning, and then that loss with the 2 trades that we just took put us down 300. But then we got a little bit of it back when we went to 1 contract. It's always hard because, you know, you go down a contract to reduce risk, but then you're like, oh, well, if I had 2 contracts on, I would have won back. I would have probably broke even on the day, or even more. I could, yeah. This could go up a little more. On the 15-minute, we have buy-side liquidity up here. So, I mean, if the dollar started dropping really aggressively, I could see us going up there. We have yet to take that high on ES. Let's see. Classify that OB 5-minute. Let's watch how price. Okay, so we have this aggressively dropping dollar. Got a big bearish candle. It's going for a little bit of a retracement. Let's see if it wants to bounce or continue further. Could definitely see it returning into this fair value gap, even this one. See how it respects this. right now we'll see if, okay. Like I said, I could see it coming back down and tapping this one more time if it wanted to go higher, but ES couldn't make that higher high, as you can see. Let's compare the 5 minute. Oh, I don't have a 5 minute ES. Okay, yeah, but ES could not make that higher high. And then the dollar, see how heavy it wants to be. This body closed at 467. The high of this is 466. So this body closed within this fair value gap. Let's see how this candle closes. Whoa. It technically closed within the fair value gap. I get such mixed feelings when you see something like this. It like opens, when it like the candle body opens and it jumps. So we had this one close inside the fair value gap. This one jumped down, wicked up into it. And now it violated this fair value gap. Yeah, so we took that quick scalp. If you look on the 15 minute, like look how much ground we've covered. We're due. 15 minute is due for a down close candle. Doesn't need one, but okay. Like I said, it could wick into this. I still wouldn't be surprised if it came down and touched this and went higher, but breaking below these lows right here, I'd get pretty bearish, like short term, like scalping. Yeah, these two down close candles on the 5 minute. They still didn't get past 50% of that. Watching the dollar. If ES was to make a higher high, I would feel a lot more confident in NQ, and like that both of these indices are going to go up. We'll see. It might do it. It might just be lagging a little bit. I think it'll primarily be on the dollar. For the 5 minute, I'd want to see the 5 minute respect. I want to see this candle respect the wick of this candle. If you look over here, that number coincides nicely with the top of this fair value gap. You know, now I'm starting to see that I could definitely do better on my stop placement, because that was this morning. So when I entered right here on this fair value gap, I could have set my stop right below here, and I'd still be in. I would have never taken that loss. I ended up exiting because we closed below this fair value gap, but like setting your stop right below this candle would have been very viable. I need to just start doing that every single time. Still a little bit concerning that ES hasn't made a higher high yet, but the dollar is still in this lower, making lower lows, it looks like. If the dollar takes this low, I bet ES will make a higher high. So I gotta watch it. So even on the 1 hour, we got this 1 hour candle closed above this 4 hour fair value gap. Come back down. Again, we want to see this 5-minute candle that we're currently printing respect the consequent encroachment of this wick. The consequent encroachment of that wick, I'll just have it up on the chart. So as you can see. Okay, bodies respecting this fair value gap. Yep, so it looks like we came over it just a tick or few ticks. Come back up. I don't like it though when you start to see these shallow higher highs. But especially when you see these shallow higher highs after a long run, sometimes it can be indicative of smart money like offsetting their longs that they bought way down here. Keep watching the dollar though. It's the end of our silver bullet session. So again, just poor stop management, to be honest. Today, that was this morning as well. The stop should have been below this candle. It was the first candle that created this fair value gap. If we had our and it's like the bottom of this, what looks like a propulsion block. So the stop should have been here from the get-go. I set it here, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Yeah, the fact that I was watching it and we didn't break below this down close candle and then we came back up through, that was how I entered back in. It was pretty obvious after that. After you can see these bodies just respecting the mean threshold of this propulsion block. Dollar doesn't want to make a lower low. It seems like it's going back up for these highs, and the fact that ES couldn't make a higher high, I'd be weary for NASDAQ longs at this point. I mean, as long as we're still respecting this structure, though, we're still respecting bullish PD arrays. So we got the 1 hour close, tap the 4 hour fair value gap, came back up. Let's go to the 1 hour actually. No, I guess we were on the 1 hour. Yes. Yeah, so again, if we start to violate these bullish PD arrays and the dollar is also taking this high or kind of stagnating, it looks like it might take that high. That wouldn't be too good for longs. Look how consolidated ES is. I'm gonna flip over to ES real quick. Ooh, it's not the best looking. It's not the best. Again, this is probably just pre CPI chop. Okay, so the dollar looks like it's coming up for this high. So earlier in the live stream, I default to ES, to trading ES, because that's what I have put my most focus in. That's what I put my most back testing and just live trading on. But I traded NQ because right before 2 o'clock, and I was just like looking at the structure, and it was really this right here. As you can see in ES, it's like high, low, higher high, but then comes back down into the middle of these down close candles. Comes up again, but then it comes way back down, and then you have these like kind of sideways action. Whereas on NQ, it was just continuing. It was a little cleaner, and we were trading upside. So we were looking to go long, and NQ made this higher high right here relative to this. Whereas you see ES didn't do that, and that's kind of what made me go towards trading NQ, which is good we did, because from the start at 2 o'clock, ES was just sideways this entire time. Nasdaq's still running. Still making higher highs. But again, so just to recap, we entered at the top of this silver bullet, which we got out of this fair value gap that came before 2 o'clock. Chose that for a value gap because it was the fair value gap that made a higher high. It was coincided with this 5-minute order block high right here. You can see we respected it once, came back up, and I entered right there coming in. And the stop should have been right at the bottom of this candle. I put it at the bottom of that candle. Should have been at the bottom of this candle. We still would have been in. Ended up re-entering when we saw the bodies of these 4 candles respecting this down close candle's mean threshold. And that's when I said, okay, then we're definitely going back up. Like, shouldn't have exited that trade. We are still on sides. So I entered with 1. We got from 460 to 472. So we got 12 handles. Low hanging fruit objective for NQ is 10. Yeah, and then I thought about re-entering. I was thinking about re-entering around here, but I've already hit my 3 trade max for the day. If I did enter right here, I could have got another 10, but I'd rather follow my rules because that's not always the case. Okay, so you can see the dollar came up, made equal highs right here. Now we're going lower. It's kind of what's keeping this when the dollar is sideways like this, the indices can kind of free. They can like gravitate up or down. ES looks like it's about, yep, it made its higher high over here. ES and NQ still climbing. It's very sloppy though. Okay, I'm gonna log off. I'm not gonna take another trade. I hit my three trade max for the day, and we ended the day in a loss. A little bit of a bummer. So that was this morning's loss. That was our loss in the first trade of the PM session. And then that was our re-entry with half the size, but what can you do? Not upset with the way start of the week. Still Monday. Signing off.